Hi, this is Timmy, and welcome to this YouTube video. And in this YouTube video, I want to talk about time. And as an immigrant, we do not, time is just like an abstract word for us because we do not have a bracket that we can actually put it in. So in this video, I just want to put it in a very understandable bracket so that you can understand why we do not have time as an immigrant here in the UK or anywhere in diaspora. So the difference between 30 to 40 years of age is just 15 winters. And the difference between 45 years to 60 years is just another 15 winters. And when you look at 30 to 65 years of age, you can see that those are the times where you are actually settling down or you're slowing down. So just 15 winters between 30 to 45 years of age, you can see that you do not have time because that is just 15 winters of long hour shifts, 15 winters of chasing train, 15 winters of clocking in and clocking out every time. And most of us will say, okay, it is just temporary. Let me just do this. By this, I'm going to by this time I'm going to quit, I'm going to do this, I will have time to enjoy later. But this is just a psychological trap, and it is called classical deferred life plan because you're deferring your life plan to the future, that when you are this, you're going to do this, until you realize that your back starts to hurt you, until you realize that you do not have the strength to actually do what you are capable of doing now, until you realize that your dreams are becoming blurry. So and the older I get, the more I think about what Jeff Bezos says. He talks about this framework. I think he popularized the framework. It's called regret minimization framework. And it's a very simple framework which says that the total regret at the end of your life should not be greater than your total happiness. So it's a very simple framework. Your total regret should not be greater than your total happiness. And that is when you can say, okay, you've lived a fulfilled life. You understand? So, but the thing is that, especially here in the UK, the system, it is very difficult to actually live outside the control of the system because especially if you're someone who is actually dependent on the system, that you are completely you can't do without long hour shift to survive. You have to manage your shift every single month to actually get by in a month to pay bills, and you have to do shifts, you have to pay bills every time, and at the end of the day you realize that you've traded your youthful years for survivor. And this is even outside the framework because at the end of your life, when you are 80, 75 years of age, your total regret is going to be more than your total happiness, because then you now start to think that, did I actually live life as I wanted, or because I had to do this and that, and that is not a way to live a life. And there's this quote by Carl Jung which says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you're going to call it fate. And I want to rephrase that quote by saying that until you make the unconscious, which is how the system works, conscious, it is going to direct your life and you're going to call it destiny. So, and some people will say, oh, at least the system is working here. At least the system is fair. At least everything is working. The good roads, we have good roads. We have, there's 24 hours electricity and that. And I understand this, especially if you're coming from a place like Nigeria or other African countries where everything is not developed, and you've always have all these things are always scarce. So I understand, but and some people will also say that, okay, not everyone, well, not everybody wants to get rich. And I used to tell them that it's not about being rich, it is just about being intelligent. And it is just about being intelligent with your time, because time is so scarce. So you can just see just 15 winters between 45 to 60. Before you know, you are clocking out at the end of your life. And the worst part is that you would have worked, by that age, you would have worked yourself to death. And even if you've not worked yourself to death, you would have worked the useful years of your life. So we need to follow this regret minimization framework, which says that your total regret should not be greater than your total happiness. And because 15 winters will just pass in a blink, and then you now start to question that have you really lived a full life, or you've really lived a long one? So, and what is the best way to actually make sure that you are living your life in between this framework? And as I tell many people, the best way is to actually have leverage over your time, have leverage over whatever you are doing. You must have leverage of time, because if you don't have that, you're going to work yourself to death, because it is impossible to actually break out of the system without having leverage. And what can give you leverage? The only thing that can give you leverage is called ownership. You have to own something, because if you don't own anything, you will be owned. So you need to have ownership. You must own something, or you must build something. And uh, especially for immigrants here in the UK, the best way I think you can have leverage over your time is to have an online consulting business. Because when you have an online consulting business, you have leverage over your time, because your online consulting business, let's say, is making you about, even let's just say, the bare minimum of £4,000 monthly. So that means the £4,000 monthly is going to cover your rent, it's going to cover your bills, so, and any other little things. So at least when you are making £4,000 monthly from your online consulting business, it will give you leverage over your time, and you'll be able to invest your time to things that you love. So when you invest your time to things that you love, you'll be able to have time for your family, have time for yourself, and make sure that you are not depleting your energy on things that on survival mode only. So you don't want to be living, because if you are doing long hour shift and you are chasing boss train every single time, you're living what is called managed survivor. And you can't just move from managed survivor to abundance. It is never possible. And the more you think you're chasing it, the more it's going to run away from you. So it is it's not possible to move from managed survivor and turn your managed survivor to abundance. So you need a leverage, and leverage means ownership. So an ownership means you need something. And the best leverage is an online consulting business, because if you are not spending too much, because the minimum startup capital is small, you don't need too much. The minimum capital, startup capital is small. So instead of physical business where you have to spend a lot, do this, spend on this, and the chances of success is even low. You might even close down the shop. So you need a leverage, and the best leverage in currently in this digital world is to start an online consulting business and make sure you scale it to 4,000, 10,000 pounds monthly. So that is just how it works. So instead of waking up before the sun and using your time to chase bus, chase train to the next shift, pick over time, you are using your time to actually grow your online consulting business beyond £10,000 monthly. So, and make sure that we have the time for ourselves. So it is very important. So if you don't even before the end of this video, the most important things that you need to take out of this video is that you need a leverage, and the only thing that can give you leverage is ownership. Because if you don't own anything, someone is going to own you. So you need to start something, because if you don't have anything or start anything, you have no choice. You're going to work yourself to the end of your useful years, even if you don't work yourself to death before then. So you need to make the unconscious conscious. You need to realize how the system works. If you don't realize how the system works and you want to live uh, based on the bare minimum that at least I'm working, at least there is job, at least the system is fair. You're going to live an at least life, because your life is just going to be at least, and that is bare minimum. And a bare minimum, you cannot go far in the hierarchy of life. So in the next video, I want to talk about Maslow's hierarchy. And if you're interested in starting an online consulting business that you can easily scale to about 3 to 10,000 pounds monthly, you should just click on the description below. It will take you to the program, which is the optimal program you can join. And if it's something that you're interested in, you can join. And if it's something you're not interested in, I don't really care, but I just want you to gain something from this video so that you can hold something that the system is meant to satisfy the crowd, and you need an anti or anti-crowd solution. So you need an anti-crowd solution. You need something that is anti the system, an antithesis of the system. So, and that is starting something, that is owning something, that is having a leverage over your time. So even when you are not active, your income should be passive. So that is what you need. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel, because I'll be dropping a lot of valuable content, especially for immigrants in diaspora and immigrants in the UK. So that is what I just want to share with you in this video. And we wanted to talk about the RMF, which is the regret minimization framework, and why you don't have a lot of time, because just 15 winters to be active. And at the end of that 15 winters, and it's going to pass within a blink, and then you just be stuck with yourself that, okay, wow, have I actually lived a full life, or I just lived a long life working for the system, paying bills? Because at that time, at 70, 80 years of your life, the question you'll be asking yourself is not about how many shifts I've worked, how many overtime I actually took. So the question you'll be asking yourself is that, did I really live a fulfilling life? Am I able to take care of my family as I wanted? Am I able to dedicate my time to my children? So those are the core source of happiness in life. And you can't achieve that by doing long hour shifts, chasing train, clocking in and clocking out. There's no way that you can live from a managed survival life to abundance through all these paths, through the crowd path. You need an anti-crowd solution, because the system is designed to manage the crowd. So that is what I wanted to share in this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'll be dropping a lot of useful content here. So I just want to build up this channel so that I can drop valuable information for immigrants or anyone that is interested in building themselves. And I hope I've been able to share some knowledge today, and I'll see you in the next video.